Story 3. Nick and the Dead. Nick was in the Hades cabin. Weird things were happening, and Nico and Will were freaked out. He's seen some weird things in his life. He was in the death squads. He was a former angel, a leader of the ALC, and dating Benji. He's seen weird things before, but he brushed them off. As long as it didn't hurt the people he loved, he was fine. Benji came in, covered in mud. "What happened to you?" Nick asked in a joking way. Benji gave him a look. "Cormac and I made a bet," Benji groaned. "He won the race." "You're so dumb sometimes," Nick said. "But don't worry, I love you and your flaws," he said, and Benji went to the bathroom. Nick went over to the lake. Cormac ran up to him. "How can I see this place?" he asked Nick. "I'm not a demigod." "The mist. Or maybe because, I don't know," Nick said, and Cormac nodded. "Maybe we may live in hell back home, but we left Salvador in charge," he said, and Nick sighed. "Why? I need some control over something," Cormac said, laughing. "And have you and Benji done anything?" Nick froze. He had kissed Benji when they first came, and he didn't tell anyone. "Get Aaron," Nick said, and Aaron ran over. "I'm gonna get Benji," he said, and came back with Benji and whispered in his ear. "Are we gonna tell them?" About what?" Benji said back. "Us. Dating and our first kiss," Nick said, and Benji blushed. "They're our friends, and they'll support us," Benji said. "At worst, the gospel spread like wildfire, but it will die out." "Right," Nick said, and looked at Cormac and Aaron. "Benji has something to tell you." "Wow," Benji said, and Nick sighed. "Nick and I are dating, and we kissed." Aaron and Cormac were shocked. "How long," Aaron started, "since we invaded New Nazareth?" Nick said, and Aaron sighed. 2 months ago." "How have you not been caught?" Aaron said. "We don't know," Nick said, and the four of them talked about life until Benji and Nick went back to the Hades cabin. They went to their bed. Back in the AOC, they would share one, never touching, just the warmth of another person. Nick closed his eyes. He dreamed of camp, people walking around them, but they looked like ghosts. He knew some were unknown. Almost all of them had something in common. They had a wound or an injury. Then he learned. He was seeing how people would die. The number hung over the heads. Most were between 30 and 80. He walked around. He found Nico and Will, both old and no harm done. He found Aaron, 46, and a sickness. Cormac, 50, a stab wound. His stomach turned. He looked around and he stopped. Benji, 20, open wounds, only one eye. It didn't look much like Benji, but Nick would know Benji anywhere. He felt his breath short. He lost all his breath in his lungs, like he was gonna fight for his air. He lost it. He panicked. Benji was just 17. If he could cry, he would. He ran to Benji, seeing the camp change to a battlefield. Benji lay on the floor, covered in blood. He ran to him, only to be stopped by a force field. He saw himself, older, run to Benji, only to be stopped. Angel running to Benji. Nick turned away, screaming. "No!" He screamed and he shot out of bed, kicking Benji in the gut. Benji was launched back. He was on the floor, holding his belly. "Nick, calm down," Benji yelled. Nick blinked to see Benji, who didn't look mad, just concerned. "I'm sorry," Nick said. Benji got up and went to Nick. "You okay?" "Yeah. I should be asking you that," Benji said, and handing Nick some water. "Drink." "Yeah," Nick said, getting his breath under control. He was okay. Benji was okay, but not for long. He gulped down the water. He looked into Benji's eyes. "I dreamed where you died." "Nick, can't lose you. You need everything in me, Benji. Changed me for good," Nick said. Benji looked at him. Nick held at Benji's face. I love you, Benji. I love you too, Benji said. I'm here. Nick lay down on the bed, Benji next to him. Nick hardly held Benji because he didn't like the touching, but now he held him. Nick was shaking. They stayed like that for a few minutes, Nick and Benji holding each other. Will and Nico came in. They knew something happened. Benji glared at them to give them some space. They left. Nick let go of Benji and Benji looked into his eyes. Nick looked at Benji close again, kissing him. Benji blushed. When Nick pulled away, he was calmer. They stayed like that in silence. Not far off, the stone with the marks. Nick's symbol glowed red. Say it once, say it a million times. I love and hate recording sessions right now. I can't get through one without, just generally correcting myself, and restarting this took about 2.5 tries, so if you can kind of predict how long that took. It actually took 2 hours to me, so it may have actually taken half an hour, but still these recording sessions take forever, so but I do recommend getting into voice acting if you want to get into any